Hello everybody, welcome to another live stream. Doctor Who, live streaming, again. Arachnids in the UK. I think I messed it up last week by pronouncing arachnids anarix, something like that, at the end at the end of the live stream. And then I watched it afterwards and I was like, I completely mispronounced that. I don't know why. I've got loads of you commenting already. Marty, you turned up early. I did see your comment just when I was setting the live stream up a couple of minutes ago. So welcome again. BJL, oh, it's me. I remember you from last time. Hello. Ewan Ward, 4th week running. I know. Tell me about it. Seeing you here every single week so far. I'm glad that you guys keep coming back. It's really, really nice to have this conversation every single Sunday. Marty, hi again. BGL, how have you been? I've been good. Busy again. I'm in 3rd year at university, so I've got a load of stuff going on that I am working on outside of this, outside of YouTube. But it's really nice that every Sunday we can just put sort of half an hour, 45 minutes aside to do this live stream. Because one, it means that I get to talk to you guys. It means that everyone who's subscribed to me is still getting content. And 2, it means that we're talking about something that we enjoy to talk about. And it only takes up about 45 minutes of the day as well. Victoria Gilbert, hey, how are you doing? I don't think I've seen you on one of the live streams before. How are you doing? Thanks for joining in. We're going to talk about Doctor Who, Arachnids in the UK in a couple of minutes. I always like to give it a few minutes just to see if anyone's coming over from Twitter. You guys that are already watching, if you've got any mates who are interested in Doctor Who, drop them a link to this live stream. We'll try and get a few more people coming in so we can expand the conversation. I'm excited to hear what you guys think about this week's episode. Ewan Ward, your streams become part of my Sunday routine. You have no idea how nice that is to hear. I've heard that from someone else as well, and it's really, really nice. And I think I mentioned it last week. For people to say that sort of their Sunday routine is now to watch Doctor Who, tune into my live stream at 8:30. It's really, really nice to see that. BJL, you have got the same uni routine as me, apparently. He said, oh God, same. Marty, same. BJL, trying to complete a degree on drama and directing. Very interesting. Where do you go to uni? Just out of interest. Very stressful. Tell me about it. I know. I do media production and it is so stressful. Dan is here again. Hey Dan, how you doing? Hope you've had a good week. We'll give it a minute or so before we start talking about Doctor Who. So many thoughts on this episode, says Marty. I'm excited to hear what you think. I'm really excited to hear what you think this week. My gut reaction is that I feel as though it may divide the Doctor Who community a little bit. Some might like it, some might hate it. I don't know. I could be wrong. Like I always say, I haven't checked Twitter or anything in the time between the episode and now. I don't want to have my opinions affected at all. The whole point of this live stream is that I give my views on the episode, and we can talk about them together. But I don't want to, before I tell you guys, I don't want my views to be changed by going on Twitter or something like that. Dan Yap, was I there when they filmed the beginning of tonight's episode? Kind of. I'm going to talk to you about that. Yes and no. We'll talk. That'll be the first thing we'll talk about. Glasgow College, BJL goes to university. Fair enough. Blimey, that's a long way away from here. Ewan Ward shared the link with my sister, hoping she joins. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed she'll join. Right, let's start talking about Doctor Who then, because we've already been live streaming for 4 minutes. I don't know how we filled that time chatting already. If anyone wants to join, then they'll join from Twitter. By all means, if you do have anyone who's interested in Doctor Who, share the link, and hopefully they'll join in the middle of the conversation. So, you know what? Let me write down on my phone. I'll remind myself to talk about was I there filming. Filming with me. I'll put it on my notes. I've made a load of notes at the end of each episode. Dan was worried the episode couldn't follow the brilliance of Rosa, but I love this episode. Good, I'm glad. BJL, yeah. Marty, Twitter tends to be over dramatic. BJL, let's go. Right, let's go. Let's follow BJL. Let's go. Okay, so we'll start as always. What did I really like about tonight's episode, Arachnids in the UK? Well, firstly, I absolutely loved Yaz's family. I think I can't imagine there's anyone in the Doctor Who community that will disagree with me there. I got very much sort of Russell T Davies era family vibes, if that makes sense. I felt that all of Yaz's family, each separate family member, was believable. Marty loves Yaz's mum. Yeah, I do too. I particularly really enjoyed Yaz's sister. I really liked the fact that she was on her phone constantly. I don't know what age she's supposed to be, but I get the impression she's younger. Yaz made a dig at her about her not having a job, and I thought that was really funny. I really, really liked that scene where the Doctor, Ryan, Yaz's sister and Yaz's dad are all in the kitchen sort of living room area, and they're chatting. The Doctor's trying to make small talk and it's just not working at all. I really like that. The sibling rivalry between Yaz and her sister seemed believable. And that is one of the things that I was hoping for the most out of this episode, was that as soon as I knew that the family was going to be involved, I really hoped that they would be believable, that the family members would seem like actual people. In some of Stephen Moffat's era, family members were here and then they weren't developed, and they just kind of felt like they were in there for the sake of it. It seemed strange at times. Clara's dad had no background whatsoever. Clara's gran was sometimes in it, but sometimes wasn't, and it was Madge from Benidorm and stuff like that. BGL, I'm so happy Yaz was given more to do here. I agree, actually. That didn't even cross my mind once in tonight's episode, actually. It didn't even cross my mind that Yaz maybe didn't have enough to do. I thought it was good. If anything, you could probably argue that Ryan and Graham had less to do, which is a good thing, because obviously they've had a lot of the limelight in the first few episodes, so it's nice that Yaz has had that time. BGL and Sally Aprihamian, I don't know how to pronounce that surname. That's the director of tonight's episode. Should be proud of herself. Yeah, I thought the directing was nice tonight's episode. There weren't too many close-ups with the blurred background. I thought it was quite nice. It was very wide. Marty, the mum asking if Yaz dates the Doctor, cracked me up. Yeah, it was funny. Marty, Chris seems to be really into characters. Yeah, I think that's no secret that Chris Chibnall's forte is character building, and you could completely see it in tonight's episode. Yaz's family was really great. I really enjoyed them. I was smiling all through that scene where they were in the kitchen and the dad was talking about cooking and the sister was nagging Yaz and Yaz was making digs at her. I thought that was really funny. Another element of tonight's episode that I really enjoyed was the scenes back in Graham and Grace's house. I thought that was really nice. I particularly liked how the shots were sort of out of focus. Like, Graham was in focus, and even though Grace was there, she was out of focus for a lot of it. I thought it was really, really nice. Again, Bradley Walsh's acting, really great. Really, really, really great. The scene that he was stood outside the house, looking back at it before he went in, I watched that being filmed. I will talk about that in more detail towards the end of the episode. Remind me about that. I watched that scene being filmed and another scene in the episode as well. Ewan Ward, I believe that Yaz might be LGBTQ+. What does the plus stand for? Her and the Doctor may kiss by the end of the season because Yaz wants to, or because the Doctor has to do a genetic thing. But I believe, fair enough. But you believe that Chris Chibnall is setting it up for the fans, possibly. I mean, yeah, Yaz's mum asked if the Doctor and Yaz were together, but then she also asked if Yaz and Ryan were together. So I don't know. I don't know about that. I also think that will be very divisive for fans, to introduce a love interest with the new Doctor this quickly as well. It could be possible. Who knows? Marty, they touched hands in the TARDIS. Did they? I didn't see that. I guess they did. Are you talking about the bit at the end? Because I don't know if I'd really count that. That was all of them. Sally is one of my favourite directors. Her short films are so good. Really, I need to watch some of her short films then. I'd never heard of her before tonight's episode. So I really liked Graham's scenes in the house. I really like how all of the characters have a backstory. I've already touched on this a little bit already, but Chris Chibnall has such a talent for making that backstory. Like I said, Yaz's sister, Yaz's dad, Yaz's mum, they all seemed believable. Dan loved the Ed Sheeran reference. Yeah, that was funny. I've got to admit, when the first time she said Ed Sheeran was funny. The bit that made me laugh was the bit when they said, "Oh, he's running for president," and she's like, "Who, Ed Sheeran?" I thought that bit was really, really good. So all the characters' backstories, they're so good. Dan's really enjoying the Doctor. Yeah, I think she's really great. I really, really do. The CGI was really, really good in tonight's episode. The spiders were very, very good. In fact, I did think to myself in tonight's episode, I thought, I honestly don't know if they could have done an episode with the spiders being shown so clearly in the past series, because in the past couple of few series, because I know they've changed VFX team, and this VFX team just seemed to be so good, and if they'd have done this episode a couple of years ago, I wonder whether it would have looked as believable, because I thought most of the scenes with the spiders looked pretty good. Dan, it would be nice if the Doctor could go back in time to save Grace. It was nice to see her back. Yeah, I really did enjoy Grace in the first episode. I'd watch this space. I do have a feeling that Grace maybe might have something more to do with this series. Possibly something. I was talking to one of my mates the other day about the potential of Graham potentially going in her place. In fact, that was an interesting thing. The whole bit at the end where the Doctor was talking about the fact that that maybe there are risks involved. And Graham was very much in the same way as Clara was, I guess, in a way where he kind of, I got the impression that he didn't really care. Like, he didn't care about the danger. He just said, I want to go, I just want to get away. And I thought that was nice, but I did wonder whether that was a bit of foreshadowing there, whether something's going to happen to one of the companions. Marty, the spider scenes with the music, I died. I completely forgot about that. The bit with the, what would you call it, house? R&B? Rap? I don't know. Yeah, that was funny. I thought that was okay. People are probably going to complain about modern music being used again. I didn't think that was too bad. I thought, to be honest, that's something that Russell T Davies would do. BGL thinks that Chris Chibnall's writing is a mix of Russell T Davies and Neil Gaiman. Yeah, I agree. Marty, I love that Chris is digging more into humanity. Also, it was said that Grace's actress is a reoccurring. They did announce that. When they first announced all the companions, they did say, I can't remember what the woman's name is who plays Grace. Grime. Jeff Thompson. Grime was that shows how little I know. Yeah, they did say that Grace would be a returning character, you're right. So yeah, I really like the grounded feel. That's one of the things I really, really enjoy about this era so far, and especially in this episode. I love the stories on Earth. I've always liked the stories on Earth, even in the Russell T Davies era, and I hope we get more of it. I really do, because I enjoyed tonight's episode and the groundedness of it. The relationship between the companions seems to be getting a lot closer. I think there's a noticeable emotional attachment between all of the companions that wasn't there in the first episode. Sharon D. Clarke is the actress. Yes, thank you for that, BGL. Victoria Gilbert, I'm good. Just whacking X Factor UK on. Okay, fair enough. You can watch X Factor whilst you're listening to this. That's fine. Yeah, the relationship between the companions seems closer, and I like that. We're only on episode 4. We're not even halfway through the series yet, and it's really, really developed through the first couple of episodes. So that's really interesting, and I'm excited to see how close they're going to get towards the end. You can already see that Graham and Ryan are getting a lot closer. The fact that Ryan isn't keen to live with his dad, he doesn't really care about that. He also got annoyed, if you noticed, he got annoyed that his dad sort of made a dig at Graham, saying that he wasn't proper family, which I thought was nice. It shows that Ryan is starting to accept Graham as his granddad, I guess. I liked how Yaz's mum said, "Are you together?" to both Yaz and the Doctor and Yaz and Ryan. She obviously doesn't know whether Yaz is into girls or guys, or maybe both. I don't know. But I thought that was funny. I thought that was a good sort of ongoing joke throughout the episode. BGL, next week's episode we get a pregnant man. I know, tell me about it. I don't know what's going to happen there. I have no clue. Marty, it seems that they will be really like a family. Imagine it in the next series. Yeah, I mean, if the companions stay for series 12... then yeah, just imagine how close they'll be. I would imagine that at some point something is going to happen to one of them. I would imagine. Ace Creeper, Time Vortex. I know. When Doctor Who TV released their teasers the other day, there was a thing saying, "Oh, there's a new." I can't remember what the phrase was. There's a new thing, a new redesigned thing in this episode. And me and George were messaging on Twitter. That's Ace Creeper, by the way. As to what it could be. And suddenly, I think I read something on Reddit, and someone said Time Vortex, and I thought, yes. What did you guys think of the redesigned Time Vortex? I'm kind of torn on it. I wasn't sold immediately. The thing that I wasn't keen on was the part when it sort of the TARDIS came out, and then there were several different sort of pockets, I guess you could say, where I'm guessing some of them are past, some of them future, some of them different planets, stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sold on it. I mean, the graphics, the CGI looked great. I just wasn't sure about the design of it. That's the only thing I'd say. Dan Yap, I wonder whether Ryan will call Graham Grandad. Possibly. I personally think that's a bit cringy. Would a 19-year-old be bothered about calling someone Grandad? I guess you probably would, but I don't know. I think that's inevitable. I think Ryan will call Graham Grandad by the end of the series. Dan, Park Hill Flats 2, excited to see them after all the time in your vlog, James. Yeah, I know. Was the bridge you mentioned... that was the bridge you mentioned too, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. The bit when they were walking over the bridge. Yeah, we watched that being filmed. BGL thinks the Time Vortex looked gorgeous. Marty, Chris North. What about him? Ewan, it looked like a honeycomb, sort of. Yeah, I know what you mean. Ewan loved it. Fair enough. Chris North. Ace Creeper, gorgeous instantly, in my opinion. A lot of you guys seem to be really into the Time Vortex. Maybe I need to watch that bit again. I mean, I'm not saying that it didn't look good. It looked really good. It was just very different. The whole different pockets thing. I thought, whoa, like that's completely different to what we're used to. Maybe that just threw me off a little bit. Marty, it looked modern. Yeah, I agree with that. BGL, John Smith did a great job with it. He's done a great job with everything he's done so far this series, let's face it. I mean, I'm not disputing how great his work is, because it really, really is great. Water Dragger 93. I screamed through half of the episode, so I missed it. I missed a lot. You screamed. I hope that's a good way. I hope that's in a good way. Let me know. Do I like the new Time Vortex? Yeah, I do. I do. It's going to take a bit of getting used to me. I mean, I said the same about the title sequence and the TARDIS. So I'm not great with something that's different. I need a bit of time to get used to it. So maybe after I've watched this episode a few times, maybe I'll get used to it a little bit more. Okay, right, what we got next on my list? The last positive thing I want to mention is I would really like it when they return to Earth, which I think is inevitable, hopefully for the series finale, I hope, at least for a part of it. I hope Yaz gets bread, because that's what she said. She's popping out to get bread. I really hope that she returns with that bread. I think that would be a really nice sort of bookend for the series. Focus Who. Hey James, a good episode, but the over-the-top American guy in that music scene was just awful. I did enjoy it very much though. Great, that's really good. I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed it. We'll talk about the American guy in a minute. I've got that on my list, don't worry. BGL, Jodie is a great Doctor, isn't she? She's just the Doctor, isn't she? Yes, she is. She's really, really great. Okay. Now let's go on to some of the things that I want to mention that I wasn't as keen on. I don't like calling them negatives, because this series has been great, and I don't feel like it's negative. This episode wasn't my favourite, but I'm trying to sort of tell myself there are so many more worse episodes. I mean, I love Doctor Who, but there are much worse episodes than tonight's. I didn't think it was great. I thought it was okay. I thought it was sort of average. I would say it's third best. Rosa being my favourite so far this series, then The Woman Who Fell to Earth, then tonight's. I'd probably say that The Ghost Monument is my least favourite so far. It was okay, but there are a few things that I want to mention. We've got a lot of comments. Focus Who, my mum and sister are really scared of spiders and literally spent the majority with their eyes covered. That's pretty funny. I know that quite a few people who don't like spiders didn't even watch it tonight. Marty, do you have any theories for the Christmas special? Remind me at the end of the live stream and we'll talk about possibly theories for the Christmas special at the end. Water Dragon 93, Arachnophobic Way. Okay, you were screaming because you don't like spiders. Jeff. Is that how Jeff? I assume that's how I pronounce your name, Jeff. It's just spelt differently. Big shout out for Bradley Welsh. She really has surprised and impressed me. I'm loving this series. It isn't perfect, but nothing is. I completely agree. That's a really, really good way to sum it up. And to be honest, even though I see the Russell T Davies era when I was a kid as really great, and I look back on it and I think that was so good. Why can't it be like that again? That definitely wasn't perfect either when you watch it again. Marty, Bradley is really good, I agree. You and Ward, I have a theory. Every single one of the villains just teleported away or is stored away at the end. They might possibly do a team up against the TARDIS team. Also, you love the name TARDIS team. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Definitely possible. Jeff, correction, not TARDIS team, it's Team TARDIS. Yes, it is Team TARDIS. Is it Team TARDIS? I think it's Team TARDIS. I don't know, doesn't really matter, does it? Right, okay, so my not bad, but my things that I want to mention. I personally feel as though it would have worked just as well without the American guy. I don't know, maybe some of you guys really liked his character. To me, it felt like it was just a bit of a dig to Donald Trump. And fair enough, make your digs against Donald Trump. Like, obviously it's modern. It makes it feel like it feels like it's in the modern day. I don't know. I mean, he was supposed to be opposing Trump, but his character was really similar to Trump, so I don't know. I personally feel as though it would have been better and quite kind of more grounded if they maybe just had another character that was maybe the head of the hotel. Or maybe Yaz's mum has set up the hotel herself, possibly. But then I guess the whole sort of dumping all the rubbish in the old mines wouldn't work that way. I don't know. I feel like personally, I think the episode would have worked better without the American guy. We've got a few comments. Focus Who, I prepared myself because Mandit Gill said on Twitter that there was only 1 or 2 spiders, but my god, did she get us with that one? Yeah, there were loads more than 1 or 2. BGL, the squishy sound that they used for the spiders, for me, was over the top. I don't really remember a squishy sound. I might have to watch that again and know what you mean. Falcon of Vlogs, did you like the SFX for the spiders? Yes, I did. I thought it was very good. We talked about it more in detail about 5-6 minutes ago, so if you want to skip back, then you can have a look what I said about that. Josh, love you, James. Love you, Josh. That's my mate. Hope you had a good birthday, Josh. Marty, Team TARDIS, is it? Team TARDIS? I don't know. Jeff Thompson, lol. I don't know. Are you talking about the Team TARDIS thing? Agree that he was annoying, but the Ed Sheeran scene made it lighter. Yeah, I agree. The Ed Sheeran scene was funny, but I did find him a bit annoying, the American guy. That's the only thing I'd say. It did feel like a huge constant dig at Trump. The hotel bits, for me, were the weaker elements of the episode. My favourite bits of the episode was basically everything that wasn't in the hotel. The bit at Yaz's flat, the bit at Park Hill, the bit at the university I thought was good. The bit at Grace and Graham's house was also good. The bit at the hotel I thought wasn't as good. It wasn't terrible, but I would definitely say that was the weaker elements of the episode. Jeff, Chibnall definitely has a problem with the whole American, right? Are you talking about the gun? They made a dig about sort of guns as well, didn't they? I think at some point to do with the Americans always needing guns, which is fair enough. I don't think that was too over the top. I just felt like the American billionaire guy was a little bit too unbelievable. Dan Yap didn't really like the American guy. Couldn't believe that he shot the giant spider at the end. I thought that bit was nice, actually. I sympathised with a huge CGI spider for the first time in my life. I didn't mind that bit, and it kind of fit his character. I like the fact that he stole the gun. There was sort of a narrative there. He stole the gun from the bodyguard. So yeah. Those are my only sort of quabbles with the episode. Now, what were my highlights of the episode? Yaz's family in the kitchen. I really, really liked those scenes. To be honest, all the scenes, particularly the bit at the beginning where the Doctor tries to make small talk but completely falls flat on her face. Marty, we saw the Doctor getting emotional about useless violence again. Yeah, we did. And I mean, that's been seen in loads of Doctors, but I think Jodie does it especially well. Graham remembering Grace was another highlight of my episode. Of the episode. I really, really enjoyed him sort of seeing Grace, even though she wasn't there. I thought that was really nice. I actually thought that maybe Grace would be the one to say to him, "What are you doing? Why don't you go?" If he, like, maybe he could have had a conversation with her and said, "I don't know if I want to go," and she could have said, "Go," and then she could have inspired him. Instead, Graham's reason for joining the TARDIS team is essentially he doesn't want to be lonely, which is nice, and I can see the motive behind it. Falconer Vlogs, my little brother started crying when the spider dies. Oh, well, see, that shows that it's good writing. BJL, also the TARDIS can now open her doors automatically. Was that the bit when Graham knocked on the door? Is that what you're talking about? The TARDIS scene at the end, I also really, really liked. I thought that was a really, really nice dynamic that they have in the TARDIS. And actually, I thought this episode, the TARDIS looked a lot nicer. I know that a lot of people have said that end scene of Rosa made the TARDIS look a bit fake, and I kind of know what they mean. I thought it was kind of okay in tonight's episode. I feel like it's very much to do with the shot. A wide shot of the new TARDIS, for some reason, doesn't look that great. The close-ups look a lot better. I particularly liked the little sequence where Jodie was trying to fly it at the beginning, where everything was sort of going all over the place. Jeff, racism, bullying, gung-ho attitude, brash American guy is what I mean. Chibnall seems to be using the series to make some political points, just an observation. Yeah, but then you could say the same about political points in the whole of Doctor Who, to be honest. It's always been relevant to the time that it's been aired. BJ, also, BJ, yeah. Also, I loved the bit when the Doctor said, and you haven't said the next bit, what did you like? I want to talk about a little bit about when we went to go watch it filmed, because if you have been subscribed to my channel for a little while, you will know that tonight's episode was the episode that I watched being filmed when me, Hannah, Will and Jamie went to Sheffield earlier on in the year and we met Jodie. So yeah, that was... It was a great day, and if you haven't watched the video about that where I talk about it in full detail, then go back and watch it. If you have watched it and you don't remember it, go back and watch it, because you'll see a lot of the things that I talked about were the bits that happened tonight. We watched the bit where Bradley Walsh was looking at the house before he first went in, and he was standing and Sheffield was all behind him. We watched that bit, and actually I checked. The house is actually there in Sheffield. That house is actually there, just up the hill from Park Hill Flat. So it actually is. Usually in TV they kind of play stuff and they try to pretend stuff's close when it isn't. That actually is up the hill from Park Hill Flats, that house. So we watched that being filmed. When we arrived there, because we had to drive all the way from Lincoln, it takes about an hour and 20 minutes-ish. We arrived just after they filmed that first sequence where they first got out the TARDIS and then went back up to Yaz's flat. So we didn't see that be filmed. When we got there, the TARDIS was there in that position, but they'd already wrapped that bit. We were around for the bit when they were filming Walking Across the Bridge, although we weren't allowed to watch it. We were hanging around at Park Hill Flats, which was funny because we were watching that. I was watching that bit where they were walking across the bridge thinking, I am literally there. Like, in this episode, I am over there. So we were over there. The bit that we did watch is the evening bit. The bit right at the end where all the companions come together. Bradley Walsh knocks on the TARDIS door and walks in. We watched that being filmed multiple times. When you think it was a probably 30-second scene, we were stood there in the freezing cold, I think in February or January, for an hour, possibly 2 hours. So that was really good, and it was really weird watching it because I remember seeing that scene, and you could hear what they were saying as well. And I don't want to blow my own trumpet here, but if you go back to my episode where I talked about going to watch that episode being filmed, I said that I predict. I know I was slightly wrong. I thought it'd be at the end. I thought the nighttime scene would be at the end of the first episode, but I said I think this is the scene where the companions decide to travel with the Doctor. And everyone said in the comments, no, it's from episode 4. They've already filmed episode 1. It can't be from that. I was right all along. They weren't glassing as companions till tonight. I was right all along. This was the scene that they agreed to become companions. So that was really good. I was really weird watching it. If you do want to go back to that video, it's called Meeting Jodie Whittaker and Doctor Who Series 11 filming, I think. And when you watch that back now, it'll start to make a lot more sense. And it'll be funny watching it after you've just watched tonight's episode. Got a lot of comments whilst I was talking about that bit. BGL liked it when the Doctor said, want me to give the mail whilst you make your rubbish curry? Was it rubbish curry? I don't know. Or was it run hush curry? Was it? I don't know. Marty, the Doctor in the apartment talking with was really funny. The last scene was my favourite with the whole gang. Yeah, I liked that scene in the TARDIS. It was nice. Marty, agreeing with me, Doctor Who has always been political in every time period. Yeah, I agree. Hannah, it's interesting how the other Doctors have been very, I can do this on my own when it comes to the companions. And Jodie would rather the companions come with her from the outset. How do you feel about this? She's more human. That's what I would say. And I don't think that's bad. I was listening to a podcast the other day about it, and they were saying how the Doctor is, 2,000 years old, maybe even older, and he/she has always had an affiliation with Earth. He/she has been travelling with humans for almost their whole life, and you're bound to pick up stuff. If you hang out with someone a lot, you're going to pick up stuff from them, and I feel like the Doctor has picked up a bit of sort of humanity. But yeah, I have a theory, because filming blocks, some scenes could be for another episode. Yeah, possibly. You and Ward, you missed Tia Yaz's. Tia Yaz's was great. I liked that. I thought that was good. Jeff Thompson. Yeah, she seems to be a Doctor who needs company. She looked so happy when they all said sure. Love Jodie. She's really worked her way into my heart, and the gang are growing on me. Yeah, I completely agree. I saw a comment on the pre-release clip, the bit where Jodie was going to leave, and then Yaz was like, "Do you want to come for tea at mine?" I saw a comment that said something like, "Oh, the Doctor and Yaz's connection in this scene was really nice. The fact that she was sort of screaming out for Yaz to notice that she didn't want to go back on her own, and Yaz was the only one to pick up on it. The two guys, like guys do, didn't pick up on it at all." So, to summarise the episode, I would say it was an average episode, but it was still enjoyable. It was by no means a bad episode. It was average. It wasn't as good. It had a lot. It had a big job after last week because Rosa was so good, and I loved Rosa, and I would give Rosa a 9 out of 10 personally. I loved that episode so much last week, and it had big boots to fill after last week, and it was always going to be very different. I know they want to try and go for a different feel each episode, that kind of thing. It was good. It wasn't as good as Rosa, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. I need to watch it again. I went downstairs after the episode, and my mum and sister thought it was really funny, and they preferred it to last week. So it just shows you how different people prefer different types of episodes. BGL thinks Jodie reminds him of, or him or her, I don't know if you're a guy or a girl, of Sylvester McCoy's Doctor. I haven't watched a lot of Sylvester McCoy's Doctor, so I'll take your word for it. Marty, it seems like it's getting harder for the Doctor to be alone and watch people go. Yeah, I mean, just imagine how you'd feel if all those people had died or turned into a Cyberman or whatever. Jeff, yeah, she just had that puppy in. Yeah, puppy in the pound. Take me home look. Yeah, she did. Christmas special ideas. Christmas special. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. Let me just sum up, and then we'll talk about Christmas special theories. I don't have any, but yeah, we can talk about it. It was an average episode, still enjoyable. Characters were really great. Chris Chibnall, smashing out of the park. Perfect. Didn't like the American guy. I can forgive that. He was still okay. I'm really liking the grounded feel of this series. It feels grounded. It feels real. It feels approachable. It feels like Russell T Davies, and I really like Russell T Davies. I'm really enjoying it. Don't have any complaints so far at all this series. All 4 episodes have been above average, I would say. That's everything about this episode. What do you guys want to talk about Christmas special then? Because I don't have any ideas to do with the Christmas special. And to be honest, I don't want to know if the companions are going to make it to the Christmas special. I feel like it will spoil it if they release too much or too much comes out about the Christmas special. Focus Who, interesting because 13 said they arrived half an hour after the events of episodes 1. So all the spiders were happening at the same time as Tim Shaw. Yeah, they were. It might be worth looking back at episode 1 and seeing whether there were any nods towards the hotel. That could have been interesting if they put little, maybe advertisements towards the hotel in the episode. That could have been really cool. Dan Yap, I hope Ryan, Yaz and Graham will return for Series 12. I definitely think at least one of them will. I'm not convinced that Graham will, because let's face it, Bradley Walsh is a busy man. Also, the fact that I feel like Bradley Walsh, Graham will have some kind of character arc. Possibly, he gets over Grace by the end of the series and decides to leave the Doctor. I don't know. Jeff. Rosa stands apart as a TV moment. It transcends the genre. Yeah, I agree. But this episode is the first traditional Doctor Who episode. I agree. It does feel more like traditional Russell T Davies Doctor Who, I've got to admit. BGL, I think the Christmas special will be quite jolly. They usually are. One thing that I haven't mentioned, the cocoons. That first cocoon, and also the bits of the people hanging in the spider cocoons. How dark was that? For 7 o'clock on BBC One, that first bit when they go into the room and she's covered in spiderwebs, I said, Jesus, like, this is dark. Like, it reminded me of like a horror film. Jeff, also, before you finish, thanks for the forum. Really needed to chat about the episodes. I'm really glad that you enjoyed chatting about it. We live stream here every Sunday at 8:30, unless told otherwise. So, by all means, join in next week, and we can talk about next week's. What's next week? I don't know how to pronounce the episode of next week. I'm going to have to practice that. I'm not going to shoot myself in the foot like I did last week and pronouncing Arachnids in the UK wrong. Marty, I want them to stay as well. I think Yaz and Ryan will both maybe stay. I agree. If I had to put money on who would stay for Series 12, if anyone, I think it would be Yaz and Ryan, and not Graham, I think. Or it could just be Yaz. Or it could just be Ryan. I don't know. I would say, if my prediction is Yaz and Ryan will stay for Series 12, but we'll have to see. Marty, I want them to, you've already commented, I've already read that. That's everything for today. I hope you enjoyed watching the live stream. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed you guys getting involved. I'm glad that you guys seem to be coming every week. A lot of you guys have been watching quite a few weeks now, so I'm really enjoying having a week-to-week chat with you. Obviously, I know what you guys think of every episode, and you know what I think of every episode, so we're kind of on the same page. I'm really enjoying the live streams. 8:30 next Sunday, we'll be live streaming again for episode 5. Jade might become a companion, BGL thinks. Was that the scientist girl in today's episode? Maybe. Maybe. She was alright. Jeff is going to set a reminder for next week's live stream. Good. Usually it goes up on my channel about 48 hours before the live stream. So you're looking at 8:30 on Friday. You can set a reminder. If you follow me on Twitter, I usually tweet when you can set a reminder. So my Twitter links are in the description. So by all means, follow me on Twitter. I hope you enjoyed today's live stream. Jeff, have a good week, pal. See you next week. You have a good week as well. Thank you. You and Ward, love these, man. Keep up the good work. Really glad you enjoy them. I'm really, really enjoying them. I'm so glad that I made the decision to live stream. It's really good chatting to you guys. Marty, till next week. Yeah, next week, 8:30, we'll be live streaming for episode 5. I'm very, very excited to speak to you guys about next episode. I'll speak to you then. Hope you enjoyed watching today's live stream. I'll speak to you then. Have a good week, everybody. Goodbye.